Welcome or welcome back. Today I'm playing with a bunch of different things. So I'm doing 3 pages, 3 prompts, Stamp and Stencil Savvy, Christie's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, and I'm using my Counterfeit Kit Challenge. And so 3 prompts, 3 pages was a black and white photo, ribbon, and the title Remember When. This is the sketch for Christie's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches, and that was from Stacy Delong. And then I have these 2 photos that I'm going to do of my grandparents. And I chose this Scrapbook sketch printable from Daffodils and Raindrops, or Raindrops and Daffodils. I can't remember which way it is, but it's linked in my description box below. And for Stamp and Stencil Savvy today, we were supposed to do some embossing. So with this paper in mind and the sketch, I decided I'm going to do some star embossing with the gold. And so the gold, because the stars are already in the gold, on that pattern paper, and I just wanted to zhuzh up the pattern paper a little bit. And then for the split piece, I'm gonna emboss on white cardstock too. So I wasn't sure if I want this pirate. It's called Pirate Gold. It is older than old. I've had it for probably one of the oldest things in my stash actually. But that's okay. So I'm going to emboss to see what it looks like on. I only have the one gold, but I did pick out like a sparkly one just in case, and I could have done it in white or in black. I have those colors too, so, but this is going to work out just fine. I was a little worried because when I came down today to do this, my lid on my ink pad was not on my embossing ink pad, so it got knocked off. And I was a little worried I wasn't going to be able to emboss today, but it worked out just fine. So when I'm at my craft store next, I'm going to have to get a refill of the embossing ink for like the re-inker, but oh. So I am strategically placing the big ones all over, like on this bottom piece to zhuzh it up, to add just a little bit of sparkle. I'm not going to use small ones on the bottom because there's lots of pattern there. However, I am going to use some small ones on white when I get there. So these 2 pictures are of my grandparents, and the black and white one is them on their wedding day in 1953. And then the other one, I think, would have been around their 50th wedding anniversary. They were married for 64 years before my grandmother passed, and then my grandpa passed last year, so. And then I decided to take the white border off of this. I'm going to mount it on black, so it has a black edge to it, just because I thought the white with the white border would look a little weird. So this is what the plan is, and then there's my white piece that I'm planning on using. So I'm going to tear this like in the sketch, and because she's got like about a half and a half page with a tear down the middle. So, and then I'm going to cut this down to 11 and a half because I hadn't quite done it that yet. I could have cut it down just a little bit more than that, and then it would have made my top and bottom a little bit more equal, but I have a little more black on my top of my page, and oh well. It happens. So I'm going to put this down just a bit because I do want to make sure I can emboss along the edge here of where it's torn, but I don't want to do it just willy-nilly because I want some stars to be along this edge. So I'm just organizing that, and so you can see a little bit more black on the top, and oh well, that's okay. So just trying to decide where I wanted my pictures. I'm like, that would work. And then I do know I want to use these small ones as I'm stamping on here. So I've got 4 different stars that I'm stamping at the same time, just to like make it easy. So I did that underneath where the paper is going to be to start with, just to double check that I'd want all those stars and they're going to work out okay. And they totally are. So now I'm going to stamp for real because it's a thing, right? And it's stressful to like stamp on your project as you're doing your project. totally get that. And I do mess up here. Not quite yet, but I will. I totally will. And I will fix it. And I will show you. So I'm just going to keep on going with this because the focus for Stamp and Stencil Savvy is embossing. I am not going to skip through all of the embossing because that was the key of what to do for that part of the hop today. So does it take a little bit longer for some of this? Definitely. But you get all to see all the pretty goodness as it all changes color from like being very dull to like super bright and shiny. Dull. And this is where I made my mistake. So I kind of, as I pushed down, I twisted a little bit. I didn't mean to, but I did. So I scooched it all off, and then I used my anti-static. I lined up the one star that you can still kind of see, and then redid it. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush and then just take off just a little bit of where there's too much embossing powder. And look at, you can hardly tell I messed that up. Hardly at all. And then I'm going to do one up at this top, not because there was anything in the sketch there, just because I thought it would be fun to do some there. So this would have been okay on like craft paper too, but I don't know if I actually have craft paper. It's not a cardstock that I actually pick up, so maybe if I got it in a kit at one point, I might have one or two pieces, but I really am not totally keen on craft paper. But it would have worked for this one. And I think that's what she's kind of got in her sketch too. And then look at, I stamped 3 times before I'm going to emboss this. Look at me. Woohoo. And then I was thinking I might want a little bit more in between that middle piece, but it's fine. It's fine. And then it's all gritty because there's glitter pieces, embossing pieces everywhere. So I did wipe that down. I'm going to get this stuck down. And then there we go. Put some of that on there. And now I'm going to back my photos. I did round my corners already, but I'm going to back the color photo in white and then in black to give it a little bit of oomph. And then the black and white photo I'm just going to matte in black because the white, I thought about it, but the white was going to get lost anyway. So, and on black. It's kind of like a then and now-ish page, but the now was a while ago. Then and then? I don't know. It is what, it's fine. So that's their wedding photo. And then just going to move this a little bit. So then we've got that there. And so I'm sticking them together. I am going to scoot that smaller picture down a bit. For 3 prompts, 3 pages, it was a black and white photo, ribbon. So I've got this lacy ribbon piece. And I only have this small piece, so I'm going to use some glue to put this on, and it makes a nice little shelf. On the sketch, there was quite a few layers on this one too, and I'm going to do a little bit of embellishment layers, but not the same amount that I actually had. So I did pull out this Clementine collection for embellishments because it's cute, and I didn't realize I had all of this. It was underneath my mess, and I cleaned up my mess a little bit, and so I have a butterfly. I was like, oh, I only have one left. Oh, I have a few left. So, because on my sketch on Thursday, I played a little bit with this collection too, for where the embellishments are coming from. But I didn't realize I had all of this still. I should have, because there was a ton of it, but like, what do I do? So I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to double check I like it there. I really like those hearts. So then I'm going to move the tickets over to the other side. That peach one is going to go to this side. My grandparents were on a farm for most of their lives, so a lot of this actually works really well for farm kind of life. So, and then I'm gonna, because this is going over top of the photo and on the ribbon, I'm gonna put these dots on the top part of these hearts so that I can put glue on the bottom part of the hearts and it will be secure and right where I need it to be. And then I like cutting my embellishments in half if they're going to be hidden behind photos and things, just because then I have it for another thing. And then that flower is going to overlap, and I really like that. I thought about this happiness is, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And then I decide I do want to stencil. And so I already stamped, and I'm going to stencil in the gold. And so this is the Lisa Horton metallic gold, and it's pretty. And it adds just a different color of gold to all of this as well. And I am going to put a little bit on the pattern paper too, just to bring out just a little bit more. Just adds different texture, different depth, because now those ones are in a different color too. And then my title for 3 prompts, 3 pages needs to be Remember When. So I pulled out this Remember from a Close to My Heart stamp. I think these ones are, I think they're from Studio Calico, but I'm not positive. So the Remember is going to be out of one stamp and the When is going to be out of this other one. And I'm going to fight with it a little bit to get it organized. I thought I could try my tweezers. That was not going to work. So just trying to get it lined up. Could I have done this in my stamping platform? Totally could have. But I was being lazy, even though it was just behind me. And I thought maybe I could do it just like this. I'm going to use the back side of the star paper to make sure it'll stamp nice. And then on it goes. Look at me, right onto my page. That's so exciting. I was like, oh my goodness, hold my breath, do I do this? Do you have those moments? I think when you're stamping on your project and it's almost done, I think all of us do. Am I right? And then this is a little bit of fossilized amber because we don't have enough gold on here. We're going to add some more. And then a little bit of tape. And that is this layout all completed. So there will be a playlist for 30 Days of Sketches listed down below. There's also a playlist for Stamp and Stencil Savvy and another one for 3 pages, 3 prompts. So make sure you take a look at what all of the different creatives are doing with all those different prompts today. I don't know if everybody's playing with all 3, but I did. So thank you so much for being here today. If you liked my video, I would really appreciate that thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe and comment. Thank you so much. Have yourself a wonderful day.